Come on, is that Ann?
So that will be of great value even for the
Good evening and welcome to the May 18, 2026 meeting of the City of Tuscaloosa Planning and Zoning Commission.
Let's do that.
Any written comments sent to staff or forwarded to the commission directly. At this time, I'd like to introduce our staff, Mr. Jimbo Woodson, Deputy City Attorney, Michael Garner, City Engineer, Zach Pons, Director of Planning, Leota Coyne, Principal Planner. There are 9 members of the Planning Commission, all who were appointed by the mayor for staggered terms, with the exception of the City Council representative who is appointed by the City Council. I ask the commission members to introduce themselves and state their occupation, beginning with Mr. Rumsey.
Stephen Rumsey, business owner. Is that what you're talking about? Is that what, were you saying?
Yeah.
Introduce ourselves?
Yeah.
Stephen Rumsey, business owner.
Portia Clark, 311 manager.
Vince Dooley, UA Campus Planning.
Ann Hornsby, attorney.
Raven Howard, Councilwoman, District 2.
Eddie Pugh, retired.
Bill Wright, business owner. There were sign-up sheets located outside for public comment. 4 speakers are allowed to speak in favor of a petition, and 4 speakers are allowed to speak in opposition of a petition. All speakers will have a maximum of 5 minutes unless the commission votes to allow a longer time. The commission will take up items in order of our final agenda. The commission will initially receive a presentation from the staff as to the details of the agenda item. Additionally, we may hear certain matters involving the same property, such as the annexation and a zoning matter concurrently, although we will take separate votes on each matter on that same property. After the staff presentation, we'll then call upon the petitioner to present their case. The petitioner will have a maximum of 10 minutes unless the commission votes to allow a longer time. At the conclusion of the petitioner's remarks, we'll then call on any party in order of sign-up who desires to support the petition. Thereafter, we'll call upon any party in order to sign up those who oppose the petition. When it's your turn for comment, please introduce yourself, stating your name and address to the commission. Provide your remarks. Any written comments have been included into the record. After receiving the remarks of those who oppose the petitioner will have the opportunity to respond to those objections. Any rebuttal will be limited to 2 minutes unless the commission votes to allow a longer time. If the petitioner presents any new information in response to the objections, the commission will allow those who oppose the petition the opportunity to respond to the new information only. Any response will be limited to 2 minutes unless the commission votes to allow a longer time. During the course of this presentation, you may be interrupted by any member of the commission for clarification or additional information. Such interruptions will not reduce your time. Once the commission members are satisfied they have received all relevant information, I will close further discussion by the public, at which time the commission members will discuss the matter and then vote. After the vote, you are free to leave. These proceedings are video recorded and broadcast live. All in-person public comments should be made at the podium into the microphone. Jurisdiction. In all matters pertaining to the following items, this commission serves as the final authority. 1, subdivisions located within city limits. 2, subdivisions located outside city limits but within the city's planning jurisdiction. 3, developments with a special district. And 4, approval letters for developments in historic district buffer zones. As to all remaining agenda matters, including annexations, rezonings, planned developments, and street vacations, this commission serves as a recommending body to the City Council. In that regard, our decisions are in the form of a recommendation to be presented to the City Council. The City Council will make the final decision. Subdivision approvals require the affirmative vote of 6 members of the Planning Commission. All matters which are recommendations to the City Council require a majority vote for an affirmative recommendation. At this time, I'll ask, do any members of the commission have any conflicts of interest as to any agenda matters before us tonight? If so, please state for the record. Having heard none, I will ask staff to confirm on the record that proper notice has been given to all parties in interest as required by law as to all matters before the commission tonight.
It has.
Thank you. With that, we'll begin with approval of the minutes. As the Planning and Zoning Commission has received the synopsis of the April 2026 meeting, I move that we dispense with the readings of the minutes of the same unless there are any deletions, additions, or corrections. All those in favor of approval of the minutes say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, ayes have it.
Good evening, Commission. Starting tonight with the consent agenda, we have 3 items. We did not receive any public comment, and no one signed up out front.
Okay. All right. Commission, we have before us consent agenda items S3926, 10X Townhomes, S4226, McCluster, S4326, 13th Street condominiums. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, ayes have it.
All right, Commission, we have a few cases requesting to continue tonight. First is Z14 and S32, and the applicant is here to request that continuance.
Petitioner.
Good evening, Tom Sims with Longleaf Engineering, 1927 7th Street, Tuscaloosa. We were requesting to continue this when we're still working with staff on some comments and trying to get, in particular, some traffic issues worked out with engineering. So if we could push this for a month, we'd appreciate it.
Okay. Is anyone signed up for this case? No one, is anyone here on this case? Okay. All right, Commission, we've had a continuance request for Z1426. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, ayes have it.
All right, next up is S3426, requesting to continue.
Same
Sorry,
case.
same. This is one where we were trying to get a variance request through the county because this is in a cohabitated zone, and we got pushed from the county agenda 2 weeks ago and continued there, so we didn't meet the deadline for here. So we'd need another 30 days if you wouldn't mind that one as well.
Okay. Anyone signed for that? Anyone here for this case? Having heard none. Commission, we have a continuance request for S3226. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, ayes have it.
All right, next up, requesting to continue is S3826. The applicant is here. I just want to get on the record, we did receive 1 comment in opposition that was signed by 13 neighbors for this request.
Is that, okay. Petitioner.
Commissioner, I'm Robert Martin with Duncan Coker Associates. We would like to continue this case to next month. We're working through some layout revisions with the county in regards to the cul-de-sac length waiver. So we're going to make some revisions and come back next month.
Okay. Anyone signed for this case? Anyone here for this case? Thank you. Commission, before us, we have a continuance request for S3426. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, ayes have it.
All right, another case requesting to continue S4126. The applicant couldn't be here tonight. They didn't get their revisions to staff in time, so staff needs some more time with this one. But I guess we can request the continuance on the applicant's
Is
behalf.
anyone here for this case? Having heard none. Commissioner, we have S4126, asking for a continuance. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it.
All right, and the last one requesting to continue tonight is S4426, and the applicant is here.
Petitioner.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Al Cabinets Engineering, representing Jeffrey Harless and Bo Flavin. We've been working with staff through a couple of access issues, reconfiguring our driveway, really more of a fire access than anything else. So we'll bring it back next month when all that's resolved.
Anyone sign up for this case? Anyone here for this case? Right. All right, Commissioner Forrest have continuance request for S4426. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, ayes have it.
All right, moving into unfinished business, we have a rezoning petition. This is Z0726. James Bearden petitions to rezone approximately 0.2 acres located at 2842 18th Street from MR1 to SFR5. This is Council District 1. This was continued from the April hearing. See, we are just west of Central Elementary and West Lawn Middle School. See, the property today does have a single-family house. It has been demolished. You can see that existing zoning here, MR1. You can see that site today where that home has been demolished at this time. The applicant is requesting to rezone from MR1 to SFR5 to construct a duplex at this location. If you recall, last month, we looked at the site plan on the left. There's some concerns about the parking in the front yard. I think our drawing board's down over here, sorry. But you see on the right, that new site plan with the parking is accessed from the alley on the north end. Here's some floor plans. Front elevation, you see vinyl siding, and then a side elevation here. In framework, this is identified as traditional neighborhood core. This request and use both conform to the plan. You can see that framework, future land use character identified here. And here are permitted uses in SFR 5. We did not receive any public comment. Do you have any questions for staff?
Any questions for staff? Petitioner.
James Bearden, 2420 12th Street, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 35401.
So I think one of our concerns was, I know my concerns was the obviously parking in the front, and I think you've made some changes to that. Still got some parking in the front. Staff is, I mean, are you comfortable with everything beyond we discussed last month?
The site plan, you know, it's conceptual for this hearing. We don't do a full review until permitting. But this addressed our major concern, which was the parking in the front yard.
Yep.
This appears to meet our regulations in terms of the concern we had with the parking.
Howard, is this your district?
No, this is District 1.
Eatman, Councilman Eatman.
Councilman Eatman. Have you spoke with him?
Mhm.
Okay.
I built all the houses on 16th. I've built duplexes on 19th. I've built duplexes on 26th Alley, so
Okay, yeah.
that's me in the neighborhood.
I mean, I'm still struggling with the parking in the front, but I'm also looking at an area that probably could use some redevelopment, and you're out there making that happen, so. Again, I think for me, I guess the staff seems to be okay with what they see. I'm still struggling with the parking in the front.
What kind of siding on the exterior?
Just standard vinyl siding,
Is it the hardy board siding or just the?
just vinyl.
Just vinyl.
That's what I've put on all the houses I've put on
Okay.
over there.
I'm familiar with his other projects, and they have all been great quality projects and added affordable housing to an area that's needed. I know the parking issue was a big issue in April, but this is a small improvement.
Yeah. Again, I just think that, I think the councilwoman was correct in everything she said. I just worry about the slippery slope of going down. We're starting putting cars and parking in front of houses. Then what's going to happen is you're going to pave it, which is fine, and they're going to park there, but then next thing you know, every neighbor around them is going to start parking there, and their grass in the front yard. And that's the enforcement mechanism that I worry about, and how do we prevent that from just becoming a common theme? You have any comments, Zach?
Yeah, so this district that he's rezoning to allows 45% to be surfaced in the front yard. So it does permit front yard parking on paved surfaces. And we do have codes and development services that do a lot of, enforcement of that same situation that you just brought up.
Were there any minimum material requirements for that 45%? Does it have to be concrete, or where can they start skirting that?
Right, so it wouldn't be able to be gravel or anything like that. We would work with the city engineer's office on.
Well, that's why we don't want to see. We don't want to see gravel, because that's what they'll
Right, that would not be permitted.
cheap way out. All right, any other questions for the petitioner? Thank you.
Thank you.
We don't have any, no one signed up for this, but is anyone here to speak for or against this petition request? Okay. All right, Commission. Before us, we'll close discussion, and before us, we have the Z 0726. Any thoughts, comments from this body before we take a vote? Again, I just want to go on the record, I'm not a huge fan of even the 45%, but it is what that is. So.
You know, the only thing I could wonder is, when he came up last month, all the parking was in the front. I just wonder how come all the parking couldn't be in the back? You look at the drawing on the left, all the parking's in the front. What's the difference in putting it all in the back?
There was access.
I have the front entry, that's a long walk, you know. I rent to elderly. You know, you're asking them to walk 200 feet from their car instead of 10 feet.
A lot longer than, I guess, in the front, it's gonna be a little bit longer. What's long? We said this lot's small, what's long, another 30 feet?
Yeah,
That's 10 yards, I think.
yeah. I mean, the whole street traditionally has parking in the front
Yeah.
currently,
That area does.
so.
And probably some of your other developments has parking in the front too, that
Yes.
you've done, so.
I'll just say that like Mr. Wright, you know, I don't want to see a whole lot of this come back up here like this. You need to
Okay.
look at a lot of options if you come back.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
All right. Any final comments of this body? All right, Commission, we have before us Z 0726, Mr. Beard petition to rezone the 0.2 acres at 2842 18th Street from MR1 to SFR5. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion. Second.
Mr. Rumsey?
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion approved.
All right, we're going to start out with some other business tonight. So as mentioned in the last meeting, last month, we are kind of kicking off those subdivision regulations again, so updating those subregs. So we told you last month that we were going to bring forward a draft timeline. And so this is a rough draft. This is subject to change, but as of right now, this is what we're proposing as our schedule to get through this process. So tonight, kickoff, timeline, next steps. June 15th, we'll start off with general provisions, definitions, and rules for measurement, and then administration amendments and legal considerations. July 20th, and again, all of these are going to be happening at the beginning of our regular Planning and Zoning Commission meetings. We're not going to be doing special called meetings like we did through Framework. And we are only going to allot a maximum of 1 hour per meeting. So July 20th, subdivision standards and guidelines, condominium subdivision. August 17th, you can see those 3 items there. And then all the way through September and October, where we will have a public hearing and final adoption, which you guys are the final body that adopts this. And then we've got November 16th and December 21, just in case we do need to push this back a little bit with the timeline if we're wanting to speak on, you know, one of these items a little bit more.
And that information will be disseminated to this body prior to, and I'm assuming all the interested parties, their engineers and.
Yes, sir, that's correct. Yeah, just like Framework, we'll be sending it out to stakeholders. We'll be collecting comments throughout that time, allowing people to speak at the public or at the meetings as well. I want to throw this up. We did send this out to the land surveyors and engineers that we have contact for what they want to see over a theme is more administrative approval or like minor subdivisions, cap sewer variances maybe being altered a little bit, things of that nature. But there was a lot of really good information here that they've submitted so far, but of course we want as much feedback as we can get so that we can make this document work for everybody. But I can answer any questions that you guys might have, otherwise we can take a vote on that timeline.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Pons? Okay. All right, Commission, they're asking us to vote on that schedule. I would ask we take a voice vote on that.
Motion to approve?
I mean, I would take a voice vote on it. So all those in favor of this proposed timeline, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, ayes have it.
All right. So now we're moving into zoning ordinance updates. So we have some zoning ordinance updates specifically related to downtown, downtown perimeter, and downtown historic edge that we're going over tonight. So I know I sent you guys this earlier. It's been posted on the website, but just walking through what exactly we're requesting here. So in section 2579, this is downtown perimeter specifically. We want to change E there to specify that restrictions related to street level uses are not applicable in this area. And so the reason for that, and I did provide this sheet right here in front of you. So essentially, we went through the zoning update previously because we wanted the downtown material standards and things of that nature to apply also in the downtown perimeter area or zoning district. And when we did that, we didn't realize, or I guess now we're coming to fix an issue that did occur, where we included this restriction of street level uses having to be essentially ground floor uses can only be non-residential uses. And so that works in downtown because the only residential use in downtown is multifamily that's permitted. However, in downtown perimeter as well as downtown historic edge, you've got a large range of different types of uses, which clearly include, single family detached, duplex, townhomes. Those obviously need to have street level uses being residential. So that's that change for downtown perimeter as well as for downtown historic edge. So it's similar, but two different sections. Do you have any questions on that? All right, and the next thing that we're requesting to change, so some permitted uses within these three districts. You can see here there's only three specific uses that we're requesting to change. So P is permitted by right, S is special exception, which means that you have to go to the Zoning Board of Adjustment for, and basically share exactly what you're proposing to do, and they look at, the neighborhood compatibility of what's being requested. And so in the downtown district, broadcasting studio is currently permitted throughout downtown perimeter, and downtown historic edge by right. We want to change that to special exception. Private event space permitted in downtown, we don't want to change that. However, also permitted in downtown perimeter and downtown historic edge, we'd like to change that to a special exception. And convenience store, special exception all around instead of permitted by right. So that way these applicants, these people that are coming, business owners that want to open up these types of uses, they have to be upfront with what they're exactly proposing so that we can ensure that it is compatible, traffic, noise, everything to that nature for the neighborhood. Any questions on that one? Nope. All right, and then finally, section 25101C. So these are standards specific to commercial uses. So of course we have 6 uses that you can see up here that are that have restrictions where it has to be 1,000 feet from another similar type of use, right? So if you want to open a check cashing business, you have to be located outside of like 1,000 feet between a similar use, casino, gambling hall, et cetera, et cetera. You can read that up here. We want to add rehabilitation facility to all of these 6 uses. So we've got check cashing, liquor store, casino, gambling hall, sexually oriented business, tattoo establishment, and then tobacco and vape shop. So, we see that rehab facility being, if someone wants to come in with a liquor store and there's a rehab facility adjacent to it, you can see where that conflict can arise. And so that's why we're requesting to put that into these 6 specific sections.
Okay. So
that's it.
You want us to voice vote on this as well, Mr. Woodson? We take separate votes on each one.
No. You can just do a recommendation vote.
Okay.
Before you vote, I just want to get on the record, we did receive one public comment in support of these changes.
Okay, thank you.
In support of what?
in support of the proposed zoning updates.
Okay, and are we the final authority or is the council?
The council is.
Okay.
And we've sent this out to stakeholders as well.
Okay. All right, commission, we'll take a voice vote on this as well. Okay, so we have the three zoning ordinance changes. All those in favor of those, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, ayes have it.
All right, Commission, moving into our first companion case tonight. This is the Meridian. It's two parts, a subdivision of 11 lots, one common area on 0.7 acres located at 1016 and 1020 Almond Avenue and 2112 through 2120 Maxie Thomas Way. This is in conjunction with a special district petition for the construction of 11 townhomes. This is a special district. The zoning is downtown perimeter. This is Council District 4. You can see we are just south of downtown at the northwest corner of the intersection of Almond and Maxie Thomas Way. You can see that existing site today. There's some office buildings here. You can see the views from the street here. So we have Almond on the left and from Maxie Thomas Way on the right. They're proposing 11 lots here in one common area to serve those townhomes. You can see that with contours, now without. We have no variance requests. This is in conjunction with a special district petition, which is why you're hearing it. Under the cases to be heard, you can see that zoning is DP, downtown perimeter. Getting into the narrative here, proposing to construct 11 townhomes, each of which is 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms. Each unit will include a 2-car garage at the rear of the unit. They're building additional on-street parking on Maxie Thomas Way, and our primary materials are brick, veneer, cementitious siding, and asphalt shingles. So here's that site plan. You can see that proposed parking on Maxie Thomas Way. Getting into our lowest floor here, you can see those garages, ground floor bedroom, moving into our main floor here in our living areas, and then finally our top floor of the proposed townhomes. Here are our elevations. You can see that asphalt shingles, cementitious siding, and brick. You can see that from the west and east here as well. The Architectural Review Committee did vote to recommend this for approval, found that it did meet the development standards in downtown perimeter. We did not receive any public comment. Do you have any questions for staff?
Ma'am, thank you. Petitioner.
Good evening, Commission. Jimmy Duncan with Duncan Coker Associates, 201 Town Center Boulevard, Tuscaloosa, 35406. My part of this is just a boring 11-lot subdivision. Tyler Stevens with Core 10 Architecture is here with me tonight if you have any questions about any of the architectural elements. No variances with this one.
Any questions for the petitioner or the architect that's present? Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone here to speak, do not sign up, would care to speak for or against this petition request?
We had three people, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we had 3 people sign up. Julia Fuller. Oh, that's next.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Well, never mind. Nobody's on this one.
Again, anyone for or against? Okay. All right. Here we are. We'll take any comments from this body. I think this is obviously a nice development. We're seeing a lot of this right across the street from the Boone home.
Yeah. Across the street from where?
The Boone home, remember?
Oh, yeah.
We did that last month, another housing development, redevelopment. Okay. All right, Commission, for us, we got petition request of S3326, the Meridian. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Hornsby?
Yes?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved. Commission, before us, we have SD0226, the construction of 11 townhomes. We have a motion and a second.
Motion.
Mr. Rumsey?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved.
All right, Commission, moving into our next companion case tonight is Markwood Preserve. three parts here: an annexation, rezoning, and subdivision. So overall, looking at 221 acres, we are south and west of Ashley Hill at the Woodland subdivision and Wilshire at the Woodland subdivision, and we're near 6800 Hargrove Road East. Annexation and rezoning is for 221 acres. The lot numbers have changed a little bit, so I'm going to read into the record the current numbers. So overall, for our GPD request, 855 lots, residential lots, 647 single-family homes, 208 townhomes, that's our big change here in the numbers, 2 commercial lots, 37 open space lots. Finally, a subdivision of only phase 1, so this is on 66.6 acres. Little change in the lots here as well. So overall, 255 residential lots, 144 single-family home lots, 111 townhome lots. Again, that's that change. 1 commercial lot, 16 open space lots, and then 1 remnant lot of the leftover tax parcel to be platted as well. So we'll dive into all the pieces here, but this is the overall site, the 221 acres. You can see we are south of Woodland Forest Elementary. That land today is vacant. And this is that overall master plan we'll be looking at in detail tonight. So you can see overall 855 lots, varying in lot width, and we'll get into the details here more. But looking at the annexation now, again, that whole 221 acre tract shown here, requesting to annex that into city limits. You can see city limits in yellow here. They're requesting to bring this in for general plan development, and it falls into 3 expansion areas and framework. You can see here our primary, secondary, and future service. Here are the annexation comments from staff. Pause here for a second. Now moving into the rezoning request. So default zoning when annexed is SFR1, single family residential 1. They're requesting to rezone that 221 acres to general plan development for, again, 647 single family homes, 208 townhomes, 2 commercial lots, and 37 open space lots. So again, we're looking at that whole 221 acre tract. And you can see the surrounding zonings here that are in city limits. And again, this is a request for general plan development. So here's that overall site plan, that overall master plan. You can see the different lot widths. So in green, we have our 45-foot wide lots, in blue, 50-foot wide, in tan, 60-foot, and then in pink, purple, 25-foot. Those are the townhome lots shown in that kind of pink magenta color. So now zooming in, starting at the eastern side off of Hargrove Road, you can see kind of the mix of uses and the flow of the roads as we move through phase 1. Now getting to the southern edge of phase 2 here, you can see predominantly 60-foot lots in this phase. As we move north through phase 2 and into phase 3, you can see kind of, how the housing and the lot structure changes. And finally, as we move to the northwest off of Gardner Road, you can see that final phase here, as well as that commercial lot on the north side of Gardner Road. So here is that overall master plan. You can see that here, and with those proposed lots and driveways shown on this slide as well. So here's the overall density is 3.96 dwelling units per acre. You can see it varies by which phase you're looking at. Overall, they're proposing 54.3 approximately acres of open space. That's 25% of the development. So moving back now towards Hargrove Road, you can see that proposed commercial lot off of Hargrove. And you can see the roadway improvements proposed, as well as you round the corner towards Bradley Road at the southern end. That second commercial lot off of Gardner Road. Now getting into the narrative, so just try to gather kind of the relevant details here. Of course, there are more posted in the packet. So this is a for sale community. Single-family home sizes varying between roughly 1,400 to 2,700 square feet. Townhomes, approximate size 1,700 to 1,800 square feet. looking at those 2 commercial lots, and you can see in that red box at the bottom, proposing several amenities throughout the development. Parking, they're providing 2 parking spaces for each single-family home, 2 parking spaces for each townhome unit, plus 1 additional guest space for every 5 townhome units. The primary residential uses they're proposing in the GPD are single-family detached and townhome units. You can see the setbacks they're proposing here, so kind of on all the lots, looking at a 20-foot setback, 20-foot front setback, 15-foot rear setback, and then 5-foot side setback, no side setback for townhomes because of that connected nature of that type. Looking at our proposed residential building materials on the left, primary materials are brick, stone, cement board siding. Primary commercial building materials on the right, brick, tile, natural stone, wood, glass curtain walls, cementitious siding, and stucco. Looking at the open space again, 54.29 acres of open space, 25% of the overall site. Proposed pricing in the high 200s to mid 500,000 range. Here are the permitted uses they're proposing for the commercial lots, so office, coffee house, restaurant, quick service, and sit-down convenience store and small retail sales. Moving in some renderings now, this is proposed townhomes, and just a sample of one of the single-family homes provided in the packet, and one of the 2-story homes provided in the packet. Several more were in the packet, but just to give you a sample here. Proposed signage for the entrance, some renderings of the amenities, and now lastly, looking at the Phase 1 subdivision. So again, 144 single-family homes, 111 townhomes, 1 commercial lot, 16 open space lots, and 1 remnant lot of the leftover tax parcel. So here's the overall site, and here is the boundaries of Phase 1. So you can see those side by side. It's kind of that first piece off of Hargrove Road that they're looking at for Phase 1 of the development. And you can see that here. So that kind of first phase, same color identification as in the master plan you saw with the general plan development. So in terms of dwelling units, overall 255 residential units, 1 commercial lot off of Hargrove. They have 16 60-foot wide lots, 98 50-foot wide lots, 30 45-foot wide lots, and 111 25-foot wide townhome lots in that first phase they're proposing. You can see that without contours here. And then this is that remnant piece. When you have part of a tax parcel, we require that it's platted, so this would be captured in Phase 2, but that remnant lot is roughly 72 acres in size. So zooming in, starting at the eastern side off of Hargrove Road, you can see that kind of mix of lots, predominantly 50-foot wide lots, transitioning into your townhomes as you move further west. And then you can see that kind of breakdown in that amenity space E on the edge. As we move north, you can see some more townhomes filling in here. So here is that overall Phase 1 rendering with the homes and driveways shown. We do have 1 variance request. We received 4 comments in opposition. Do you have any questions for staff?
Engineering on the variance request?
We're okay. You go back 1 picture.
We're okay with that request.
We haven't seen this one before. This isn't the one.
And sorry, I forgot to mention up there, but the applicant did submit some slides. They have a presentation for you all, but do you have any questions for staff beforehand?
I couldn't understand what you said.
Applicant's going to give us a presentation as well. Any questions of staff before we call the applicant? Petitioner.
Chair Wright, Commissioners, thank you all for having me tonight. I appreciate it. My name is Scott Holmes with Ready Land Co. is my company. I'm here with Engineering Design Group, Wade Lowry, Jake Williams, and Jake Graham.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Can you guys hear me okay now?
Yeah. Write it down. And give us your address for the record too, please.
All right.
Address for the record?
My name is Scott Holmes with Ready Land Co.
Address.
Address. Where are you?
I live at 313 Antigua Way, Niceville, Florida, 32578. Good. Thank you guys for all your help along the way. It's been 2 years of meetings, and I appreciate answering all my calls and everything like that. So essentially, Leota gave a good rundown of essentially what we're seeking. I just want to speak a little bit about why, and then I'm eager to answer any questions you might have. As you can see, that's the development as a whole. Just a couple infrastructure-related things that might be of interest. There is a temporary sewer line that's laying on the ground right now. We will relocate and bury that, obviously, with permanent infrastructure for the project. There will be numerous road improvements off of Hargrove and, well, basically numerous places. I'll have Wade come up here from Engineering Design Group and explain that in a minute. And then there's just a rendering what you're looking at on the entrance and the phase 1 that we just spoke about. This is looking from the south to the north. Just there are 8 jurisdictional streams that will remain. We will not touch those, so any of the wetlands, any of the streams are being left as is. We're not doing anything to impact any of that. So what came up in conversations with Councilman Fail and members of the community, planning and zoning, was essentially the affordability issue, needing nice single-family homes or entry-level homes for new graduates or blue-collar workers who want to have the pride of home ownership. So essentially, what we're trying to do here is give an affordable entry point, but not just some townhomes that are slammed together off somewhere. We're going to have a series of move up all the way from low $200,000 range to the mid 550s. So it will follow the neighborhood. The neighborhood will be able to continue to move up. And you have kids, you get the move up, little bit nicer home, and you get the job you've been with for a number of years, and you can afford a bigger place. And then for a bigger family, you have the nicer home on the nicer lot. And the important thing is, and obviously these are the renderings of as you come and leave the development. So this amenity package that we put together is going to serve, obviously, the entire community. And it's important for us that everybody from that entry-level buyer to the person with the mid-$500,000 home, they can all, be active in the community. You will know your neighbors. You will spend time in the community, getting to know people, and you're not just gonna leave the development when you want to go on a hike or when you want to go do things. Like personally, I lived in apartments most of my life. It is what it is. I got married. We bought a townhouse, and then we moved into a planned development. So now I can take my kids within a 5-minute walk or bike ride, and we can go into the woods and go hike and go to the pool all summer long and enjoy the amenities that the package we put together is pretty robust. Dog park, tot lots that Wade's daughter is at Alabama, right? So she's not going to care much about the tot lots if she graduates and buys a townhouse, but over time, when you have kids and you want access to things like the grilling area, the pavilion for parties and things like that, it'll be a neighborhood, it'll be a community, and you'll have a sense of being together. Roadway improvements, we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then the future commercial, so again, Leota mentioned it, office, coffee house, restaurant, quick service, sit-down restaurant, convenience store, and small retail sales. So we're not asking for anything like, no tobacco shops, no cell towers, anything like that. Or it's very narrow. And it's essentially, it would be like 4 storefronts, 4 or 5, to serve the community and the neighboring communities. Something like that. And here's on the other side, the second commercial pod. We didn't want to put all the commercial in a big slammed section in the middle because that would have an issue with traffic, and we want to kind of separate it out, just these little, storefronts that can be individual, and then, when you're out on your way to work, you can stop and get coffee at the coffee shop, go to the gym, things like that. One other thing regarding the density, so we are keeping it just under 4 units per acre. So with the amenity package, we could seek an extra 2 units per acre, which would result in 1,290 homes. Everything we're doing is just under the 4 units per acre. Open space is going to be over 25% for the entire development.
Hold on.
And for phase 1, sorry, go ahead.
Did I hear you say that it's going to be 4 units per acre, but then you're going to add 2 units?
We are not asking to make use of the provision that allows us an extra 2 units per acre. So instead of seeking 6 units per acre, we're just sticking with just under 4 units per acre. So for the entire development, we're at 3.96 units per acre. So yeah, that would be like 1,290 homes, which we are not seeking. That's it for what I have to present. I'd love to hear questions and comments.
And this land's in the county presently?
Correct.
And he's going to come in under R1 or SFR1, and then he's asking for a rezoning from R1 to a PUD or the.
That's right. Yes, sir.
And the future land use is, suburban residential. So everything, and I put that in the packet, everything is keeping with the provisions of the suburban residential, goals and requirements.
I think this is a beautiful presentation.
Who's the builder, Scott?
We don't have a builder selected at this time. Kind of need to have annexation, rezone, and everything together to remove the speculative risk. So at that time, we will open it up.
What is your timeline?
We hope to be complete with construction drawings and ready to move dirt in spring of next year.
And your price from your beginning product to the upper end, what is your range?
Yeah, we anticipate the townhomes to be in the low 200s and then the upper level homes to reach the mid 500s. So if you get, we're right at that mobile home, you run up against mobile homes much lower, and we didn't think that would probably be the best fit here. So yeah, the lowest price point would be the townhouses, and then the single-family homes start probably around the 300,000.
So you're going to sell the lots to builders and let them build, or you're going to?
Right. I'm not the builder. I'm the developer.
How'd you find Tuscaloosa? You're from Niceville?
I spent a lot of time in Tuscaloosa. My brother went to Sanford. We're up here.
Did you go to school here?
Actually, I wanted to, but I wasn't good enough in track and field. So I went to the ACC, and I pole vaulted at Wake Forest. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay, my comment was, this is a beautiful presentation, but my real question is what I'm seeing reality?
Right.
And I worry about that because historically we've seen large development phased over time come in and give us wonderful drawings, wonderful amenities, wonderful facilities, and it historically has not lived up to that. When I see the pool house, and we're going to call it, looks great, but is, in your order of creation of this project, is that going to be at the tail end of the project or on the front end?
Phase 1. It's in phase 1.
I get phase 1, but, as this project gets started, all the things that we see, will they happen? Will they be like we see, like you're presenting them? I mean, and plus with the beautiful trees and the walk paths, what you're building, I don't see how you get many trees on there, because you're going to have to probably strip the land and and you're going to be plopping down 6-foot trees in there. And I think that's one thing that, you know, it sounds great, it looks great. I mean, that's a wonderful picture, makes you feel good. Where is that going to happen? Is that going to happen on the phase 2 lot that one day will be phase 2 if everything goes as successfully as you want it to? So I think when we hear people, we're going to hear them in a minute, these are the things that concern them. You're going to hear the usual concerns from the majority of people is traffic impact.
Yep.
How's it going to affect our property values? And I don't know if you've met with any of the neighborhoods or joining.
Yeah, we had two meetings with the community,
Okay.
one in January and one about a week ago. So we've had a chance to address concerns and talk with the community.
Well, I can't, the council person for this district is not obviously on this board, but I'm sure the things that I just mentioned and we're going to hear are going to be the same things he's hearing. So I get nervous when I see such a large project, especially from someone that's not local. Have you done a project in Tuscaloosa before?
I have other projects in works in Tuscaloosa, but this is my-
I couldn't, that's one of the messages I got, or maybe it was on the email. What, do you have a track record for this type of development, and what other cities have they been in?
Right, I've done one in Escambia County, Florida, a large one, and then I have another 167 lots that I did in Defuniak Springs, Florida, and my partner has done about a dozen of these, over 1,000 units.
So where was it, where did you say Escambia County, Florida?
Right, Escambia County.
How many lots was that one?
That's 99 lots.
99?
99.
All right, so this is 1,200, is that,
This is 855.
where'd I get 1,200?
And like I said, my partner, who's done multiple projects much larger than this throughout Virginia, Florida.
So do we have documentation of that track record, Zach? We have the projects he's done. This is a pretty good undertaking.
No, they didn't submit that with their
Yeah, we can
application.
provide something to you.
Could you do, that would be good.
Sure.
So my question, Scott, is, so you mentioned earlier, you're going to have different contractors to build these homes, right? Is that
Right.
correct. So how do you control the look and the consistency?
Right, I mean,
To give you what you presented here?
Obviously, the design and, what is this, Wade, 60 pages, 80? Yeah, covenants and restrictions will control the materials and everything that's
So part of them agreeing to build this, they're going to have to abide by those covenants?
Yes, absolutely.
So this is 220 acres? So
Yes.
Would you take that site, are you going to have to just mass grade and make it flat? Is that what you're going to have to do?
We will have to grade the site.
To get to 4, in other words, like, I
Yeah.
was looking at the topo around it, it looks, I don't know what the topo lines are, so it's pretty good up and down, is that right?
Yeah, there's some topo changes for sure on the site.
So will you mass grade the entire site at once or portions of it?
So drifting into some technical questions, I think I could help
Sorry,
out.
give your name and
Wade.
address.
Right.
Name and address.
Yes, sir. My name's Wade Lowry. I'm with Engineering Design Group. We're in Pelham, just up the road. Our address is 120 Bishop Circle. Grading, yes, there will be mass grading in the development. The entire 221 acres will not be mass graded on day one. That won't happen. The development is projected to go in 4 phases with a certain number of lots and a certain mixture of lots in each phase.
50 acres at a time, or?
Right, somewhere around that 50 acre at a time with a mixture of each of those type of lots in each phase. There are portions of the development, there are portions of the development that will not be disturbed. If you notice, we have some jurisdictional features on the site, streams and wetlands. And those are, actually, there's no wetlands, it's just streams. And those are delineated by those purple lines you see on the screen. So we have done a preliminary grading plan of this entire site, and we avoid those natural features. So we have one crossing, one road crossing. So we will have to have a nationwide permit from the Corps of Engineers, and that one crossing is actually in Phase 1, where that purple line crosses our main road into the
Can you
development.
draw a circle around that Wade? Is it Wade?
Is there a Wade? Yes. Right there, yes, it's up on the screen right there. So we've got a little bit of disturbance of one piece of stream, and that would be piped. The rest of it would be left alone. I heard the comment about the trails earlier, talking about those amenities that Scott mentioned earlier. So we want to make the amenities. And I say we up here. I'm the civil engineer, right? I'm not the developer, but the amenities, in order to be counted as amenities, must be usable by the residents of the neighborhood. We can't just plop a trail on there and say, yeah, there's a path through the woods, go for it. No, in order to have the opportunity to gain extra density that Scott was mentioning earlier, those amenities have to be usable and enjoyable by the neighborhood. And we think we've made that. There is a trail system that will happen in Phase 1. There are parks and dog parks in Phase 1 that will happen. So we have enhanced those amenities to be able to say, hey, we could request additional density, but we're not going to do that. The 2 meetings we've had with the community absolutely brought to light those concerns. You know, there's traffic, there's utilities, there's stormwater, all of those things that we typically talk about with a development like this. So rather than me ramble, if there are other technical questions related to traffic, stormwater, utilities, that kind of thing, I'm happy to discuss those, or I'll be quiet.
So back to the landscape. So you answered the question about the houses for the contractor with the covenants. How will you handle the landscaping? Will you hire a landscape architect to meet those covenants as well? And would that landscape architect be retained for the entire phase, all the
Yes.
other
So
phases on the project?
And that's a great question about covenants and restrictions, landscape architect. And that's kind of the beauty of the city's GPD ordinance, right? So we have to provide a plan that we, as the civil engineer, can tell the developer that is feasible. It's a feasible plan because we know what the topo is doing. We know what the utilities are doing. And that plan presented here tonight is now forevermore, should this project progress, tied to the zoning. So we don't, if something were to change and you know, things happen in the world, economies change, whatever, if anything about this plan changes, it has to come before this board. Going along with the nice picture that you see right there is that document of covenants and restrictions, which says colors must be, building materials must be, and that goes from Phase 1 till the final home is built. So that's how that's a bit of control.
So Wade, can you take your finger in the cup, like circle phase, what you see as Phase 1, and then kind of Phase 2, and Phase 3, and Phase?
Yes.
Based on this map.
Am I able to?
So that one's not working.
This one's not working?
Right, or if you pull that little drawer out underneath you, it's not on, is it?
Right now.
Okay, yeah, so
Okay.
I'll try my best, but see some lines here,
Yeah, there's a red line. There you go. That's it.
and I guess it goes.
And that's it. You're right.
Is that Phase 1, Zach?
Yeah, yes, sir.
And that's into 2 stages, so that doesn't, we don't drop those lots. Sorry. We don't immediately drop those lots. I mean, that's a, 2-stage Phase 1.
So you'll have Phase 1, A and B.
Okay.
All right,
Right.
can you
Right.
draw a line where A and B, are you gonna be on the north side or the south side?
Do
or
we know that yet?
What is A and which is
Subphasing?
B?
You probably don't know that right now, do you?
Well, I don't,
I'm trying to
As
figure
far
out
as I
what-
understand,
I'm
we're-
trying to figure out what product the public or the neighbors or whoever's going to get first.
Right, what makes the most sense is we're likely just going to come off of Hargrove, so it just goes from east to west. And Phase 2 is actually, Zach, I'm going to be the north west section, and then Phase 3 will be the middle.
So you're going to come in off the main road, and those blue and light green lots will be your first, and the little purple ones, is that right?
Exactly.
So you'll work your way back to Phase 2, basically off the road going east, west.
Yes.
West in that case.
That's right.
Okay.
So the first phase, the point of the first phase is to have that mix of lot sizes, like Scott mentioned before. Does that answer your question, Mr. Rumsey?
Yeah, and I guess it goes without saying, there'd be a construction interest. You won't build houses and then build another 800 or 600 or whatever. Or they won't drive through, they'll drive around somehow, is that right?
Right. So you bring up a great point that I think is worth talking about. We talk about timeline of trying to start Phase 1. So the timeline of the entirety of the development. Well, what in the world is that? Well, this is like a, correct me if I'm wrong, 10-ish year build out. So this is not going to happen. 850 or what the number homes are not going to be started on day one. It will work progressively through a phase at a time as we go.
So you would try to do like 40 a year or something?
Yeah, so that's 85 a year, 7 a month.
Now, this may be too technical of a question. How do you, when you build this road for the first phase, how do you handle construction, traffic, and all that on the roads that you just completed?
Right. So, I'm sorry, let me clarify. Are you talking about the improvements that are shown on Hargrove Road?
Well, just when you build out in the future, how do you maintain?
Right. So the streets, as the phases are built and then final platted, right? So you create lots with final plat, you dedicate rights of way to the city so that the city owns the streets. That's a great question. You have future phases where all this construction traffic is going to be driving over finished city roads. Well, normally how that has happened is a bond is required so that if you, Mr. Developer / Builder, don't fix our roads, we have this bond that we can enact on. That is how I have seen it in all the projects we've designed.
But Wade, you couldn't possibly build, or I guess you could, but if you built, say, 85 and you still got 700 or, how many is 800? 800?
855.
So let's just say you got 750 or something left. You're not going to make those 750 drive. In other words, everybody's going to be driving through a construction zone. Are you going to have a construction way to get back there or what?
Right. So right now, you can see, so Bradley Road, everybody sees where Bradley Road is to the south. And there's this appendage of land that comes down from the development and connects to Bradley Road. Well, that came with the land, right? So there's nothing really to do with that. It's not wide enough at the north end to be a full city street. We know that the fire department would love to see a secondary emergency access. So our plan right now is that would be the construction access until such time when it becomes a dedicated emergency access for those things. And, with construction access, absolutely. We talk about equipment and construction vehicles coming in and out and in and out. Well, one of the things we have to provide, and I'm really getting into the weeds here, but one of the things that the state will look at, we have to have an ADM permit. How are you protecting those existing roads with your construction access pad? And that is as detailed as we can make it in our set of plans.
And you got erosion control issues.
Oh, yes,
all
sir.
that
There's,
stuff, too.
right. This is, and when we met with the community, I thought one of the important things was to realize, because if you don't talk in these circles every day, the steps of it aren't really obvious. So this is kind of layer number one of a million layers and steps to go. So this is, there's a whole lot of time and planning and review by city staff and state and federal before anything happens. Yes, sir.
What do you really gain by that being your construction entrance? I don't see, when I think construct entrance, I'm thinking something on the backside that comes in.
To bypass all the.
Bypass, I mean, you're not really gaining anything. These poor folks in that first little division, they're
Does
gonna
this
be.
road come all the way around here to phase whatever, 2 or 3 or whatever? I mean, in other words, what he's saying is, even if you have a construction, it's gonna drive right up there to your main thing, and you're gonna be driving right, in other words, everyone.
I mean, everybody's.
Right. Yeah, and so, after the construction equipment gets into the development, then what, right?
Yeah.
And so what will most likely happen is we will probably reserve some of those end-of-street lots and have a pathway through there so that you don't interact with that construction equipment. Because you're right, this is a sizable development that will happen over a number of years, and we have to think about, we don't want the general public playing around with the same streets as constant construction traffic.
Okay, so if you're gonna have local or other people that can build the houses, I'm assuming, what about the townhouses? Is that going out for a bid, or are you gonna develop
It's all
that?
up to, the bidding it to the builder that we make an agreement with.
So you gotta convince a lot of builders to come in here and wanna develop this with you. Unless you've got, we've seen larger projects that have their own development teams that come in, i.e. a D.R. Horton type.
Yeah, we're aware of,
We obviously,
we've discussed that in the community meetings. It was brought up.
Well, that's, what gives me a little concern is that you gotta put it out there, and then you gotta convince those builders to acquire those lots. And then how long does that drag the project out?
Well, yeah, we would not move forward if we didn't, talk to dozens of builders and have a good understanding and that there was an interest once we achieved annexation rezone. And
Have you even had any conversation with any builders about it?
yeah, a number of builders we've spoken to, right?
Local?
Stone Douglas, I believe, has a local group. Lennar has a local group. Roush Coleman was in the area as well.
So back to one of my first questions, the amenity areas. I'm going to go back on that again. With you having to put it out there to or build relationships with some types of builders, when do those happen? What's the magic percentage of sales that those amenities start? Or they start out of the gate? Because I think if I'm a home buyer, you show me that presentation, I'm going, that looks great. I can't wait to have them go to the pool, but when's that pool going to happen? When 20%, 40%?
A certain number of amenities have to start when the houses start because that's the sales, sales pitch for the builder. So, there's no way you'd be able to just start building a bunch of houses and just say that the amenities are coming in 5 years. That's fraudulent.
Wade, have we got the sewer capacity to carry 800 lots here?
That's a good question. So the city has coordinated with, good grief. Our team has coordinated with the sewer department. Mr. Brian Gurney, actually, I've had multiple conversations with him about this. He would have a report for us tonight, but he is wrapping that report up now. So there is not a worry of capacity. There may be upgrades required to handle the flow from the development, which the development team is fully ready to adhere to. Today, running across the site is a temporary force main sewer. It's actually a 24-inch diameter pipe taking sewage from one lift station to a gravity trunk line. And part of our coordination with the city is, and you can see it runs across the top of the screen right there, we will be incorporating that line into our project and redirecting it permanently so that it's no longer a temporary facility of the city's.
Mike, my question on that is, are we going to require them on the front end to build out the sewer system for the entire, all three phases, or just this first phase, and tap into it as phase add?
I need to see the report to answer that completely, but it would make common sense that the sewer capacity just needs to be available for the first phase that they're talking about. The timeline for the subsequent phases, we could work with that. But, so I'd be fine with a study and any improvements that accommodates phase one.
So Mike, if they're drawing, and I know that in some ways we ask developers to go ahead and plan a large parcel, even though the market can change, like you were talking about. I guess something that I've never given much consideration, we don't see many 800 lot subdivisions, honestly. I mean, we don't, and the closest thing we've had to this, in a way, is downtown, where someone throws up 800 beds and we have a certain amount of sewer capacity, and we're trying to put this much sewage in a pipe this big, and we wake up and go, that won't work. And then the whole road's got to be reworked. So if you draw 850 lots or whatever the number, and they've got it planned, you would make sure that phase one is okay, right? I mean, in other words, you got to make sure that we have the capacity.
Right.
But is there any possible way to know if phases 2, 3, and 4 would be okay? Because didn't we just look at the big development last month next door to this or somewhere near? I mean, it seems like there was several hundred lots that are also being looked at near here. I'm trying to figure out what comes first, the chicken or who gets the sewer capacity? Is it first in wins, or first build, or first planned? I mean, sewer capacity is the most expensive game in town. I mean, we learned how valuable that was when all of a sudden these people, that we had a 3-bedroom house or 3 3-bedroom houses on a block, and they put up 500 bedrooms on the site, and all of a sudden we realized how valuable sewage capacity was. So.
Yeah, I can speak to that. Leota, is it possible, or Zach, to show like the overall plan on the screen again?
In other words, would we be committing to use sewage capacity, or if somebody comes in next door and builds 40 houses, do they have just as much right as you do?
Yeah, so right now, on the west side of the property and inside the property, there is a sanitary sewer manhole where that current temporary force main that I talked about that's laid on top of the ground ties to that gravity manhole, and then it gravity flows from here all the way to the treatment plant, okay? So the data we have...
Which plant does it go to, by the way?
The one west of, good grief.
Let's see.
The one down there by Pfeiffer Wire.
Yes.
We only have one sewer treatment plant.
Pfeiffer Wire?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
on the west
Wow,
of
that's
the
a
interstate.
Isn't it?
Yeah, so it flows to the trunk line, and so by standard engineering practice, we know how much waste would be generated by this development at phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and so on. So what the city, Mr. Gurney is looking at is, all right, at the ultimate build-out of this subdivision, do we have capacity to afford that subdivision sanitary sewerage? Okay?
Phase
Now,
1.
Yes, and from phase 1 through the ultimate 855 lot build-out.
But
That's
we
right.
couldn't possibly do that, I don't think, because we may have 4 subdivisions come in and start construction before you start your phase 2.
That's right. And you know, what happens on adjacent properties is a bit out of our control, but the city plans for those things at a given rate of growth for the city. And so you are absolutely right. You know, there may be gracious plenty sewer capacity for this development, and maybe 1 or 2 other developments adjacent to where we are. But certainly down the road, as those lands develop or whatever, that absolutely has to be looked at. And that's been done years over years in Tuscaloosa. As Tuscaloosa.
I know I sound like an alarmist. I guess I'm concerned, now, if he only is committing to phase one, so that's, say, 68 houses or whatever, and he's got to make sure, and the gentleman at the sewer department, what was, his name was?
Brian Gurney. Yes.
Brian.
Yes, sir.
So Brian tells you whether he can accept that much waste, right? So then, the group that was here last month, they come back next month and say they get approved for 100 houses. But you've platted, effectively, you've platted 700, 800, and you sell them to I don't guess you sell them until are you going to develop them, or are you going to sell to a developer to develop?
We'll be selling to a builder, so we'll be developing and.
You're going to be doing the curb and gutter, sewer, and all.
Right. So there will be an agreement with the builder. Some builders like to self-develop, so, it just depends on the.
But you're the developer, you're not.
Right.
Selling to a developer.
Correct. Yes, sir. I'll sell to a builder, yes.
So what happens if you buy the 220 acres and then you run into a sewage capacity issue after phase one or phase two?
Well, and so I'm not speaking for anyone, but as this other development you have mentioned is a known possibility for the city of Tuscaloosa, that information would be part of the modeling of the sewer infrastructure network of the city.
So the city doesn't have an obligation to upgrade its sewer line, does it, Mike? I mean, in other words, that's expensive stuff. Do you get the developers to do that, or?
Just like
It is the developer's responsibility. I don't know if you can remember, this is probably going back 3 years, maybe. We were on the south side of town, development called the Ledges, that was connecting to an existing gravity system. Their 150-plus lots was going to exceed that capacity. We ended up entering into an agreement with the developer to fund the infrastructure improvements that it took to bring the city system up to capacity. This, I believe, would work very similarly.
So even if we can upgrade the pipe, then we've got to make sure the plant can take it also. I don't know at what point we run into these issues. It's always at the worst possible time.
Well, I can't speak for Mr. Gurney. I don't think there's much of a likelihood that this would reach system capacity at the plant, or we would probably already have a long-range plan to solve that solution, and I'm not aware of that. But again, that's Mr. Gurney's.
But if we get, I guess, we got there downtown real quick, because obviously we're talking about going from 3 houses to 500 beds, and then there were several 500-bed deals that popped up, and we realized overnight they ate up our sewer capacity.
Yeah.
And so this is a little bit different. It's over a lot of acres and.
True, and the growth of this, like Mr. Lowry said, this is a 10-year build-out, may even be a little aggressive. An example, High Grove. High Grove had 640-something lots. They're about halfway through, and it started in 2014.
Which one?
High Grove.
Oh, yeah. And it's been about as fast and successful as the development's ever been.
Yeah, and then they're just now reaching into the mid-300s or upper 300s, and it's been 12 years.
And this got
641 or 42 lots.
Wow.
This instantly becomes the largest potential neighborhood in all Tuscaloosa.
Ever.
Mike, does this sewer line feed out to Highway 82?
Yes, sir, it does. It crosses Highway 82.
Is this not the sewer line that we've had trouble with?
That's one reason there's a temporary force main. The city's got a project rehabilitating some of that sewer. But it's not rehabilitating capacity. It is rehabilitating, increasing its life cycle.
Well, at one time, if I'm not mistaken, this line was not carrying anywhere near the sewage it should. That was one of the issues. I don't know that the sewer would be an issue at this point. My question would be, if we brought this into the city, we bring phase one in at what they want rezoned and leave the other two phases at R1 and they be rezoned as they develop them. My issue is, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that, but until they do it, not rezone it until they get ready to do it. Because once we rezone it, it's rezoned.
Eddie, was this in your district when you were council
Yes.
person? Do we have the school capacity for this?
If I'm not mistaken, this line was one that came from Mercedes that they built that was supposed to carry a lot more sewage than Mercedes
No, I'm talking about
produced.
school. Do we
And they
have?
didn't produce enough sewage as they anticipated. And this
You're
line-
right, that this is part of that
If
system.
that sewer sits in that line, it eats it up, and that's one of the issues we were having.
Do we have classrooms?
Sir?
Do we have classrooms? If we took in, like last month, I can't remember how big it was. Didn't we have one last month, the month before, that was pretty doggone big? Wasn't it, it was maybe near the golf course or something, but that one and this one would be 1,500 lots or something. Okay, do we have class availability? If we annex into the city, do we have room to put the kids?
As far as the pipe goes, I believe it's fine. Mr. Gurney had to ask.
I'm not, I don't care about the
sewage
sewer.
plant.
I'm past the sewer. I'm past the sewer.
Woodland Forest.
Past the sewer. I'm now worried about whether.
There's a comment on one of the pages in here that says they've spoken with.
Can little Rosemary go into the first grade is what I'm asking.
Right. So with the schools, we have a meeting with the superintendent and their team on the 26th. So we're going to make sure everything with the schools is, the modeling for their growth and the absorption rate of the schools.
The typical subdivision in Tuscaloosa is 40 houses, and it takes, 5 or 6 years to build out, and we have a little bit better idea to plan. This is actually, like Chairman said, this may be the largest, if it's not the largest, this is the second largest. We put one on paper a while back south of town, kind of near you, Vince, I think.
Yeah,
It was big.
It was big, yeah, but it wasn't nearly.
Did it build out? Are they building it out?
Not quite, not yet.
I will say we do have people who signed up public comment.
Why don't we, unless somebody got any direct questions for the petitioner that hadn't said anything yet, let's get those who signed up, we can hear them, and then we'll come back up and answer other questions. So Mr. Dooley, I guess you're in charge of the list.
All right, I got this one right this time. All right, Julia Fuller. Julia Fuller. Ms. Fuller? State your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Julia Fuller. Well, I have multiple addresses, so I'm just give you one. I have a place in Greene County.
How about your local? You have a local address?
Pardon?
You have a
Local
local?
address is Northport.
Okay.
800 Kirkwood Drive, Northport, Alabama.
Okay.
Thank you.
This presentation is just beautiful. We have a piece of property beside this and a small business. And I don't think any of y'all have been, we have been in a drought for the last 4 years. We've had no trouble. 5 years ago, we had a massive rain for like 3 or 4 days. Our entire parking lot was like a river coming from this piece of property this man wants to build all these enormous homes on. It is a wetland up there. All that stuff comes downhill, and we are downhill. Every creek, backyards in the area on Hargrove Road is full of water. And I mean, I just think this is too many houses for the runoff that's gonna come off of all the concrete and the roofs. And, there's nowhere for the water to go but to the lowest spot, which is where we are at. 6700 Hargrove and Dollar General, and then you got a sewage pump station, you got Mitchell Water Company. Everything was flooded. And there's some other people that live on down that the creeks and the banks overflowed. This is just too many houses for this piece of property, for nowhere for the water to go. There are wetlands up in there. I have walked all of that. And I'm all for progress, and I know all of y'all have all been probably advised on this, and you've got engineers and builders and all that good stuff, but I have been over there for over 20 years, and I know where all this water is coming from. It's coming from all that up there. It's all up on a hill, and it all runs down. Woodland Forest, it don't have room for the people that's got now, the school, the elementary school. And I'm opposed to this many homes, I really am. I went to one of their meetings, and they talked about water retention ponds. Well, when those fill up, where's it gonna go? I mean, I'm strictly opposed to this many homes. And then the traffic. We got traffic now, we can't hardly get out of our business because of all the traffic, especially in the mornings, in the evenings. I mean, I just think this is too many homes for this area, realistically. It's gonna be a great problem to some people that live in a home directly across from us. Well, they're actually next to the Woodland Forest Baptist Church. They have a culvert that runs under their house and down real close to one of the corners of the house. But it overflows. Their whole yard is a river. I mean, this is a really low watery area. It doesn't retain water really well. It stands on top. It's like a clay base. I know you've probably had a ton of engineers, but I really would like for y'all to come out that way when it rains, especially when it rains hard, which we haven't had that lately. But I just think this is too many houses.
What's your name, ma'am?
Julia Fuller.
Julia Fuller?
Fuller.
She brings up a good point, Mike. So over the years, we've done developments, and we always tell people that we can't speed up water, or we can't put more water on the neighbors than is hitting them today. Do we ever make that promise and then have it not fulfilled by the developer? And if so, what ends up happening? I mean, in other words, I know we study water runoff as best we can, and we're taking stats and acreage and slopes and all that sort of thing, and some of it's guessing, and some of it's hoping, and some of it's praying, and then some of it's just plain good old engineering that you were taught. But do you ever have one that misses its mark major and have to go in and say, okay, what do we do now?
And that was my other thing. Once they've developed and done their little thing and they're gone, he's got his money and he's gone.
In theory,
who's going to take care of us?
In theory, he's going to build a bunch of retention ponds that's going to hold this water, and he's supposed to hold.
In theory.
Well,
in theory.
I'm asking Mike what kind of situations. I mean,
right.
I don't hear a lot of complaints that we miss it, but I'm just wondering. And they're not going to come to us; they're going to come to you.
Yeah, so there's an obligation as a part of the approval process to submit a hydrologic or drainage study that's very thorough to our department, that's get reviewed in conjunction with the plans. If that plan fails to detain the water sufficiently effectively, like the report, and it causes damage to a downstream property owner, then there's obviously, civil penalties to that, lawsuits between the developer and the private property owner. Do we see that very often? No. I think it's a real rare occurrence.
So Mike, is the standard then, their goal would be not to add any additional water that's already flowing there now, or is it to completely control the water that hits their property and positively impacts the adjoining landowners? What's the standard and what's the goal?
The standard is a zero increase in the runoff rate at the property line. Let me just say it that way. A stream that leaves that development and goes onto your property or someone else's property, the volume of water that you see under a certain size rain event should be the exact same after they develop it as it is before they started.
Mike, so can it improve it as well?
Yeah, you can also improve it. You can.
So it's not guaranteed that a development will I guess, cause more damage. It could enhance.
It shouldn't cause any more damage.
It should cause at zero at base. It should be no additional.
Yeah.
but it can improve.
You're saying they could increase the size of the detention ponds and help?
It'll help the water runoff. on
Maybe.
those.
That's a possibility, absolutely.
Well, have you seen how many detention ponds are on this? I mean,
I mean, but.
Can you speak into that, man?
You know, at this point, that all would be contained on their property, not
Yeah.
yours, but it may help it could help your situation,
It
I guess, in
could.
that situation.
it could, but if it don't, who's going to pay for it?
Well, that's what we were just
That's what we were
discussing.
just talking about.
Because I know when they're gone,
Right.
they
That's
wash
what-
their
well,
hands with
that's
it.
what-
I've been in that situation.
Well, they're not
before.
going far because they've got
Yeah, they got to.
20 years of development here.
All right, real quick, just regarding the process. So I think it'd be beneficial if, we give her 5 minutes and then you guys can ask the specific
Yeah, so-
questions so that we can keep
I don't know
the
if it's
public
law, but
comments
it's certainly
rolling.
policy. We do not allow a developer, they must show us with a hydrologist and their engineers that not one more gallon of water, unless it's an extraordinary rain event, will come over on your property than was already. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, Ms. Flora?
I'm just concerned about all the houses
And they'll
and
come
stuff.
back up and they'll give their side.
I know.
Everybody would be.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we have Scott Walters. She covered it all. She covered, okay, all right. All right, we have in favor Brian Weeds, is that right?
And, I view a developer wanting to come invest several $100 million in our community, local community, is a good thing. And it definitely create a lot of work for a lot of local contractors, be it contractors, subcontractors, and material suppliers on this project, like all the previous projects in this area have done. So
Now, hold on a minute. Now, you said several hundred million. There's only, that'd be, how much per lot would that be? I don't think we're getting to the several.
no, you take 850 houses at 250 grand a piece. I don't know what that comes out to be.
He's not doing that. He's not doing that. He's developing the lot.
That's right, but the construction's gonna come with it, which would be good for the local construction community.
Will it?
If it's built, it will.
How's that? I mean, explain that. Will you explain that part to us?
Well, when this developer sells these lots to a builder, the builder's gonna request prices from subcontractors to build out the houses, the earthwork, the neighborhoods, all the utility improvements associated with it. And typically that goes to local contractors because we're here locally and we're better priced than an out-of-town developer coming in or contractor.
So you're saying local subs or local subs?
Contractors, subcontractors, material suppliers, I mean, everything that any development in this community gets
That's
currently.
what, I think that was a question you asked, Bill, as to who was gonna be the developer and who was gonna, was it gonna be any local? Didn't you ask if they were gonna be local?
Yeah, that's, it seems to
Well,
be.
I know, I've done a lot of work for Four Star, D.R. Horton. I'm not saying I'm a fan, but, when they come in and buy a bunch of lots, local contractors typically get
You're
that
saying
work.
even a large national builder has trickled down to local subs? is what-
Absolutely, yes,
That's what I
sir.
was getting at.
Yes, sir. And that's all I had. Thank you.
I think that's all that's signed. If anyone else care to have any comments in opposition or in favor of this petition? You may. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
It's okay, doesn't matter.
I'm not one to not speak. My name is Anita Garner-Hallman. I live at 7925 Bradley Road, Duncanville, Alabama. The property that I live on is homesteaded property. It's been in our family for hundreds of years. We love our road. We love our neighbors. We love to see homes built that will be homes that people will want to live in for years to come. I see almost a city there. I don't see really individuals really taking advantage of their own yard. It's like everything is kind of done for them. I find that people who have a yard possibly for more room or for storage or look at some of their restrictions and all that they have. It's definitely not what we have, and I'm in the county. Our road is in the county. Bradley Road is a county road. It is not rated for any kind of construction traffic. We don't have big trucks coming up and down our road because it's not rated for that. The road bed will not take that. So that would be something that if they're going to think about using Bradley Road, that will have to be addressed. They have not talked to the county, is my understanding on the Zoom meeting the other night, about any of those things. They've really not talked to the problems that'll happen on Highway 82 at the end of Bradley Road that we already have. We've had major wrecks there. I don't know how many deaths in the last 20 years there. Supposedly, the state has had, I don't know how many proposals to do something at the end of our road, and they've not ever done it. They're supposedly going to close off our median that goes across, so you would not be able to go across 82. You'd have to go up or down to get over onto 82. So that's going to back up more traffic. But my thing is, I have traveled Hargrove Road for over 60 years. And the traffic on Hargrove Road is atrocious already. I can get to the traffic light down at Skyland, right there next to the Walmart, and sometimes I sit through that light 2 times, sometimes 3 times before I can get out. And the city just recently redid that intersection, but it can nowhere near handle this. I was, for over 20 years, I worked a corporate job, and it was in construction background. And now I work for the school system, the county school system. But one of my dear friends is the principal over at Woodland Forest, and they have no room for children. They pretty much are at max capacity. Of course, that ebbs and flows depending on the age of the child, because the age of the children dictates how much square footage they have to have per child. So that, kind of comes and goes a little bit. But so all of those things would have to be addressed as well. I know how the county works as far as school system goes, and that's maybe on a 10-year plan. If you could start something now, it might take 10 years before you would actually see the building and have students in it. I just am concerned about those things. It just is a huge undertaking. My other concern is also, because it will take time to do this, what happens if we're in the middle of it and something happens to these people, happens to the contractors? I just see a lot of upending in that. The other thing is the sewer line. It's on top of the ground. It's been on top of the ground. It's been a lot of problems, lots of smells. I live on Bradley Road. I have family property on Garner Road. So you're getting me on both sides. Garner Road property is in the county, but the sewer comes right through the middle of it. Half the time we can't even go over there. We don't even have cows over there anymore because the smells have been so bad. But, that's some of the things that we're looking at. We were also told on the Zoom meeting that the streams would not be, they would be preserved, but we were told where they had to cross them, there would be a bridge, but tonight I hear he's talking about a pipe. That's a lot different than a bridge going over the top of a creek and preserving the creek bed as to putting a pipe in the ground for the water to run through. That's a total different thing. So that's some of the things that are concerning us. We were told 350 to 550,000. Now I come tonight, I'm hearing low 200s on some of these. And I'm looking at the cost to develop this. My father was in structural steel in this town for over 39 years, so I know about big building. It's just a lot of red flags to me and a lot of the things that are happening. So.
Time's wrapped up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else care to speak for or against? This will be our last speaker. Name and address for the record, please.
Brianna Bells. I'm a realtor at Keller Williams Real Estate. My address is 4001 Deering Downs Drive. So I live right between where all the project would be happening. And I'm for it. We need affordable housing in the area. It's, I think, a good area for that. I travel Hargrove to families and friends that live in Camden Lake, and the traffic would probably be annoying during all the construction, but regardless of that, I think we do need some housing in that area.
Do you know anything about the schools? You're a realtor?
Yes,
Do you know anything about the schools in their capacity?
I do not, and obviously I understand the concerns are very valid, and so I know there's kinks to be worked out. I'm not familiar with what capacity the schools would hold, but obviously that is important, so.
Anything else? Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Petitioner, you've heard some issues raised by the public. Would you care to come back up and address any of those?
All right, so I took a lot of notes and wrote down names, and I hope I have all those names correct. Ms. Fuller brought up water runoff. Yes, water runoff. And you can see on our plan right now, we do have many, many stormwater mitigation ponds spread throughout the site. And Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, 100 years is the detention requirement, correct?
Yes, the
Okay.
detention is required to carry the 100-year storm event.
Right. So hydrology is a thing where you give 5 civil engineers the same problem and you'll get 5 correct and totally different answers. I would say a good thing about Tuscaloosa's regulations is that we must detain up to the 100-year storm rainfall event. We design that way regardless. A lot of cities will say, all right, you have to detain the 2-year, the 25 and the 50-year event. Well, Tuscaloosa takes it a step further, and we get the equivalent of Noah's flood, and we've got to detain that difference in runoff from the way it's out there today versus what you see on the map. So we are hyper aware of stormwater in the project. And we have heard these concerns and discussions at the community meetings we had. So, and Mike is exactly correct. We will present a hydrology report to the city to show how at every point where water comes into the site from off-site or exit the site, we have to show how we study each of those basins and how at the end of the day, the rate of runoff does not increase to adjacent property owners. So that would be designed by us. It will carry my personal seal and signature. It will be reviewed by Mike and company and approved. And if there's anything in that that gives Mike pause, well, we're happy to talk about that. But storm sewer is one of the first things we look at when we look at a site. Does that help answer that question?
Well, let me ask you this.
Hold on.
Vince's point was, could it in theory improve?
Mm-hmm.
Do you project that as well? Or, I mean, is there a way to project that?
Right. So will it improve? Because we are already required to design our detention to detain the 100-year event. And keep in mind, when that happens, and I'm from up the road in the Birmingham Metro, and we had 3 100-year rainfall events in the span of 7 months between 23 and 24. So those things do happen. you know, I'm not sure when the city adopted detention of the 100-year event, but when we get a 100-year event, there are going to be problems everywhere, okay? Theoretically, and I know, looking everybody straight in the eye, it's easy for me to stand here and say theoretically, right? When we design to detain the 100-year event, if we get that event, we are not adversely affecting downstream property owners. When a 100-year rainfall event happens today, and that water falls from the sky on this site today, there is certainly some downstream issues that would have to be dealt with. But in the future, we have to deal with that water that goes there today and, important, and the water runoff generated by the improvements. So that is first and foremost what we do. And when I say we, I mean civil engineers in general.
So Wade, can you go back to your legend that tells how many units?
It's
per acre?
855.
I understand.
Yes,
But
sir.
Can you go back to that screen that shows the phase one, phase two, how many units per? And it's, I don't know if you can enlarge it where it says phase one is okay, so phase one is 3.96 units per acre, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got phase two is 4.39, phase three is 3.36. So now I'm sorry, Zach, do you mind now going back and to the picture? And I want to ask you a question about this top left corner of the drawing. Is that I don't think that's the one that we were, was that the one we were just looking? Okay, this one. See this top, I would call it northwest corner?
Yes, sir.
The lots are so small, they look like ants, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I assume is that a 40-acre parcel up there in that top left corner? Is that fair to say that's a 40-acre parcel in that
It's
northwest corner?
Probably close, yes, sir.
Can you tell me how many home sites are in that quadrant right there? You see those things that look like the television, looks like a television screen at 3 in the morning back when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that I have a count for that. I mean, we could stand here and count them, but I don't have that broken out because that phase is combined with the northwest quadrant and the southwest quadrant.
But that's phase two, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But if you take that quadrant right there, I quit counting over here on this right side at 100. So I'm trying to figure out that area is going to grossly exceed. I don't see. Is there any way that you can tell? Is there any way that you can count the number of units in that quadrant right there? I mean, is that the quadrant right there? Is that okay? So, all right. So, can you tell me, Wade or Scott, how many units you're getting in that 40? That 40?
Well, let's see.
Should be on some, I mean, I saw some that had phase one and phase two lot counts. What was that?
It's like 79, maybe.
I mean, let's,
See, if you
gotta be an easier way to, I've got this somewhere, don't you?
If you go back to the picture before, or in other words, now I'm talking, see, this down here is in that 40 also, see? I'm saying that it's,
All right, based off of kind of quick calculations, it looks like around 321 units.
320 in a 40 acre?
For all of phase two.
Oh, I'm sorry. For all of phase two, so this would be most of that.
So
Like if you take half and then maybe add a,
So,
That's what I thought he was asking.
all right, so when I look at the topo, and it's hard to zoom in, but I found at least a 100-foot deviation between the highest point I could find and the lowest. This is a topo map, so I know I found 400 and 300, so maybe Mike can help me with his experience. Are we about to grade 150 feet in elevation change to flatten, to build 7 or 8 units per acre? Is that what we're about to do here?
I have not looked very hard at the topography. I don't know, Wade mentioned earlier in the presentation, they had done a preliminary grading plan. I don't know if he can share, what cut fill volumes or haul off, or you need X number of cubic yards of bar to make the project balance.
Yeah, I don't have a copy of the grading plan with me, but the site does balance. We are not hauling material out of here, and we are not hauling material in. As for your question, Mr. Rumsey, about the density, so I think there's, now that Zach gave us that number, I think there's like 150 units split in the northern and southern half of Phase 2. So when we talk about density, yeah, I mean, if you pare that down to just that 40 acre, well, sure, that the density is high, but the requirement is we look at the density in the overall project. And I'm trying to make sure I understand the question.
So you've got a quarter of your lots are 25 feet wide. Is that fair? Now, in the surrounding areas, what is this mixture of homes somewhat keeping with the neighborhoods that are around? Can you zoom out a little bit and let's have a look? Or is it?
Yeah, I can discuss. I understand what you're asking. So our 45-foot detached lots are 5,625 square feet. That's larger than Cashmere Place down the road at 3150. It's larger than Barrett's Trace at 4,950.
Where is it on this map here? Are you certain?
It's not on that map. It's all the little developments around the area. Well, some of them may be on that map. With that overlay, I'd need to look at a Google map. But and then in Easton Place at 5,550 square feet. So our smallest lots are bigger than those 4 nearby neighborhoods. Our 50-foot lots at 6,250 square feet are identical to Ashley Hill, which is just down the road. Our 60-foot lots at 7,500 square feet are larger than
I'm not looking at what you're looking. I'm not looking at what you're looking at. Is that information that you provided in your package?
I just pulled all the neighborhoods nearby. So up and down Hargrove.
So I'm saying that 25% is 25-foot wide lots, and that is a small lot. A parking place is 22 feet long. So one of the things that we had trouble with on the development on Old Colony, and I think they ended up doing away with that product, is you could not park, when you had a driveway, you could not park a car and have a guest without parking, either blocking a driveway. You could not park a car in between driveways. And so I'd like to almost see these, can we blow this up, and can we now go back to that drawing up in that corner? Because look, this is, to the chairman's comment, this is a big deal. Not only, I guess I could take the attitude that, if you got a big enough bulldozer and you can flatten it out, it really may or may not be of our concern. I'm not sure, as long as you don't have downstream, you don't transfer downstream problems from your development to the neighbor. But can you zoom in down here in this, well, I guess the pink or the purple is is the most narrow. I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to look at the ingress, egress, and to see, do we have, one of the problems we didn't have bay parking, and in that purple section, I'm saying, is, one of the problems I had is, nobody could have a football game party because nobody could park on the street to come visit their neighbor, and I'm trying to figure out, in the most dense area, which is the purple, do we have a problem up there with that sort of thing? Can we, is that
can't.
something we can zoom in and look?
We're unable to
In other words,
zoom
are you gonna use alleys for are you gonna park in garages from the rear? What's going on up here?
Yeah, so each unit has a garage, and we have the opportunity and area to add on-street parking.
Pardon me?
Accessory on-street parking
Okay,
within pockets of the development.
where is that?
It's not shown, it's not currently shown on the map, but you see at the ends, the north and south ends of some of those townhome units, there is white space, nothing on it, that we can definitely add accessory off-street parking there.
So, and that would affect this drawing, correct? So, is that something that you might want to look at? I mean, you follow, so there's, there's 200, are they all in this section, or are they all scattered throughout? Okay, all right, so, in the purple sections, one of the issues, and I'm sorry I kind of picked on you, young Robert, is Robert here still? I want to make sure that we have, all right, I see bay parking over here by the stormwater detention. Is that bay parking on the stormwater detention?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Where it says stormwater detention, is that bay parking?
Yes, those are some of our accessory on-street parks.
I guess that's the kind of thing, perhaps, Mr. Chairman, that I do think when we start zeroing in on whether something is working or not, I would have interest in that.
I mean, I agree with you, because I'm looking here, you've got 13, you've got
One dumpster.
25 units in one
One
little row
dumpster.
there, and you've got 4 or 5 bay parking.
And so you'll understand where we're coming from, Wade. So what you're gonna tend to say is, look, the townhome or whatever the product is only requires 2 parking. We're trying not to create a mess where people, Wade has his friend over to watch the game, his daughter has 2 or 3 friends over, whatever, and there's 0 place to park. And we're talking about how do the guests park in a section such as this, where we do not create helter-skelter and possibly even a fire issue.
Yeah, certainly, and that's a great point. I don't think that the code requires the additional parking that we've shown on here, but certainly hearing what you guys have said earlier to one of the applicants, and right now, yeah, we can add more on-street parking bays like we've shown around here. That is not an issue.
The code does state 5 additional, or what is it, 5 parking spaces for every 5 townhomes. Sorry, I'm butchering it.
For every 5 townhomes, we require 1 guest space, and they did place that in their narrative, in their parking section, that they'll be building to that standard.
Repeat that again.
So
Every 5,
Our parking requirement for townhomes is 2 per dwelling unit plus 1 additional guest space for every 5 townhomes.
And honestly, that's teetering in the ocean sometimes. It's not going to be day in and day out.
Yeah.
It's just going to be on Friday night or Saturday night when the football game is on.
pull back up get to your point, Mr. Rumsey, pull back up that drawing that showed the different purples and the blues and all that. Okay, so here, all those, I guess, are all kind of clustered together.
Yeah, and he may have the area to come back and show us where I'm headed, and I see Jimmy Duncan over there. You remember this conversation, Jimmy? I'm trying to get it. Okay. It's nothing, it's not penal, it's not anything except for, we know what the code says, we know what the code requires, and that's all fine and well. We're talking about from a practical, successful development standpoint, when someone has people over and they start parking on the street, can they park? Because in many cases, it's going to require parallel parking on the street, and are they going to be blocking the driveways? So is it possible that you could go back and look at these, particularly the tight areas, like for you to look at all of them, just make sure that the vehicle ingress, egress, guest parking, practically how people live, not how they live on paper, because on paper it just doesn't work out on Saturday night, okay? So can they park between surely you're going to probably have a mailbox at the entrance, because if you have mailboxes out front, it'll be a tragedy, right? So
Right, we have cluster mailboxes spread throughout the development, yes, sir.
So if you can show us how X number of reasonable amount of guests might park on the street without causing craziness in those areas in particular.
Certainly.
And I'd probably just go over all of them, honestly. Because 25, like I said, a parking space is 22 kind of legally, isn't it? 8.5 wide, 22 long.
I have a question. It looks like in most of these townhome clusters, there's only one dumpster. Is that going to be enough?
There can certainly be additional dumpsters added.
Yeah,
I see your point
the
there.
northwest one that we zoomed in on earlier, I think I counted 91 units over there. And it's one dumpster. It appears to be one dumpster for each cluster, unless I missed it.
They're probably going to use carts.
You can have carts and dumpsters?
I think the plan is for us to actually have,
It's a requirement by ESD. They've specified in their documents that they want dumpsters for the townhomes. So they'll require dumpsters for the townhome areas.
but to your point.
But is one enough?
No, probably not. We can add some more.
You have enough space there to add. I mean, I think you have enough space to widen that and get two dumpsters.
Right, yeah, we do, and the thing, we try to be careful about those things, because you want to put them
Right.
in a location that's convenient to go to.
Correct.
But, you know.
Could you consider extending to another month to come back on some of these type issues, so we don't necessarily vote on a night like this? Because if you don't pass, it'll set you back.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, this is a planned development. This is done not with strict zoning, right? A lot of this is working with the jurisdiction. It's important for us to do something that, takes comments like that regarding dumpsters, regarding parking. We want this to be something that is jointly done with Tuscaloosa. And that's, I think, why the zoning really exists, is so that there can be more say into how this ends up, into the route we take. It's not just SFR1, we have our regulations, we follow it, and we move on. We want this to, we want to achieve something that can be, beneficial to Tuscaloosa.
So if you're annexed in, you're annexed in under one zoning, and then you ask for a different one, which you're asking for the one that allows all of this, I'm saying that we need to be a little careful and cautious to make sure we get it right, because once we approve it, it's approved. And right this minute, I'm kind of zeroed in on just purple, but the good news is he has the dirt to find the solution if he goes back, I think. I think he can go back and find that solution. Now, that's one of my nuances, and y'all may all have a nuance, okay? But that would possibly stand between me tonight. I'd rather him go back and come back and improve on the drawing then maybe call for a vote. In other words,
Chair, if I may.
I think he can solve this problem, one of the ones that I've got. Now, another one that I've got is, so what obligation do we have to the city school system? Do we just dump 1,000? If they each have two, that's going to be 1,700 students. Do we just dump 1,700? Now, they're not going to build this all this week. They're going to build it over X number of years. But this is just one development. We've got several in this area.
Well, it says on here that they have a meeting scheduled on the 26th with Tuscaloosa City School leadership, so they're going to discuss that there.
And I would like to say, for me, I think there's a lot of information that we still don't have the details on, such as the report from Mr. Brian Gurney. I would like to see that in its totality from Mr. Gurney concerning the sewer requirements, our capabilities. Also, the comments from the city school system. I would like to know, definitely make sure that they're aware of the number of students that could possibly be coming into the school system over the next few years. And then also, the councilperson for this district has been out of the country for about 2 weeks, I think. I would like to speak with him because I know our former council member for that district is aware of some previous concerns. So I want to make sure that all of those concerns are addressed. So those issues are keeping me from making a solid decision on this tonight also.
You know, the elementary school could be an issue, but the good part is Eastwood Middle School and Bryant High need students. So it will be a plus on that side. And this would, if this was to happen, it might be a good opportunity to enlarge Woodland Forest Elementary School and make it even better than what it is now. And if they do it in phases, that would give the school system time to make some of those improvements. So the middle school and the high school need students.
You know, when you develop 40 houses or 40 acres, and we do that fairly regularly, but I don't know that we do, I don't know that, like Bill said, we don't do 800 or 900, or he said if they had exercised a few of their rights under those zonings, he could have gone to 1,200. I'm just saying that should we get a, what if, should we get them to get the superintendent to write a letter saying we've got a plan and we can accept this type of growth? Otherwise, are we not creating a situation? I mean, I don't know, for instance, the average number of children that would be in a development like this, would you say one per?
Mr. Holmes, I mean,
Yeah, that modeling, I'd rather have the superintendent's office.
I'm about to say, this is kind of your call.
Yeah.
But I think you're hearing a common thing. There's some unknowns here.
Right. We can come back with more information and continuance that would make the most sense.
I think Councilwoman raises a very valid point. I think it'd be very helpful to this body to have that final report from Gurney and that meeting with the school, because those are, again, this would be the largest, I'm pretty confident saying it, the largest neighborhood development in this city's history.
And your neighbors are embracing it, really. I mean,
And there's a lot of, we're talking schools, and we really haven't thoroughly gotten to the roads and all that, and the impact that number of bodies at some point. We know it wouldn't happen immediately, but back to planning. I just think that it's your call. You can call for the vote, or you can ask for continuance to get those other pieces of the puzzle into this body. It might help us.
And one last thing, I looked through your packet. I know you referenced the traffic, the turn lanes on High Grove, but did y'all have a traffic study completed? Okay.
Yeah, and just to touch on that, the traffic study did come up with a few things, some improvements that we will be making, like the Bradley and 82 connection is currently in its current state. The infrastructure is not enough to support the traffic. So as part of this development, we would do those improvements based on the way it sits right now, which the study recommended that, improves. You can maybe get into specifics about what is it, a turn lane on each way, both directions. So, that's one of those things that as part of this project, it's incumbent upon us to make those improvements as well, just from the traffic study saying like, well, right now, this does not meet a level of service, whatever, it needs to be a level of service C, and that's what we would do with, as part of the build-out.
So would that be your
Yeah.
best?
A continuance would be the request that I
That's
think
just
would
the
be-
next month. That gives you time to have those meetings and get them, Mr. Gurney, and
Yep.
obviously.
Absolutely.
You got a comment or anything?
No, I think that's a very wise decision. We need to hear from the water and sewer side.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, just need to formally ask for a continuance.
Yeah, I would formally like to request a continuance on this.
Okay, all right, Commission before us, we've got,
Is 30 days enough?
yeah,
Yes, 30 days is good.
okay, so we've got I'm gonna just do a block continuance request for this companion case, the Market Preserve petitioner's request. All those in favor of this continuance request, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. Unfortunately, y'all have to come back next month and join us again, public, but at least you might get more information, and hopefully maybe they can be shared with you prior to. I would encourage that as well.
Is did they have one entrance or two?
One, well, so you got the fire,
I think there's one from Gardner Road and one
Eventually, they'll have one on Gardner Road,
Bradley later.
There was
and
another.
Bradley is a fire access
But
only.
as far as like the towns, we've had a lot of discussion about the towns. There's 600 or whatever, and this is 800 out of one entrance. Is that also perhaps something that we need to?
Right, there's two entrances.
Two, yeah.
There is two.
Yeah.
Will be,
Okay.
Yeah. At the end of the day, there will be two
at
entrances
the end
into
of the
this.
day. Day or a year?
Years, decade.
Yeah. All right. Sorry.
All right. We'll move into our.
Hang on one second. All those, y'all are free to leave if you'd like to, so why don't we give guys a minute or two? Y'all can, unless you want to hang around and just enjoy the show.
And the next meeting will be June 15th at 5 PM. And we'll resend the mailers, the sign will stay out.
All right. We'll give them another half a minute and then they can. All right, Leo, I think they're quiet. They're a quiet crowd, so why don't you go ahead?
All right, we're going to move into our preliminary plats for tonight, starting off S3526, resurvey of Lot 25, Tuscaloosa County Industrial Park Site A, consisting of 2 lots on approximately 6.8 acres located at 1600 Industrial Park Drive. This is Council District 1. You can see we are just west of the airport here. There's 1 lot today. They'd like to split it into 2, kind of following that driveway line. You can see our aerial's a little out of date. There is an existing building on site. You can see that without contours. And just zooming in, you can see that proposed lot follows the driveway access here. We have 2 variance requests. We did not receive any public comment. Do you have any questions for staff?
Engineering,
We're in favor of granting those variances.
petitioner,
Commission again, Jimmy Duncan with Duncan Coker Associates tonight, representing Winship LLC. This is the piece of property that's just north of the Airport Industrial Park Railroad Spur. Speculative development was Phase 1. Microchip is now in that building as of 3 months ago. We've recently permitted a larger speculative building north of that roadway that Leota referenced. The idea is to break these 2 lots out into individual, different ownership.
were you the gentleman who made the comment about wanting to have more things approved by staff?
Was I the gentleman that what?
That wants to have more things approved by staff at the staff level as opposed to coming before this body?
I was one of them, I would.
Okay.
Right, there were
I
multiple.
just-
That was
I
that
got
was
my
a
feelings
theme.
hurt when I heard that. I was thinking that might have been you.
There are probably others as well,
Okay.
Mr. Wright. Just a thought.
It's a thought. We like that thought. Any questions for Mr. Duncan? Thank you, sir.
Thank
Anyone
you.
care to speak for or against? Having heard none. Commission, before us, we have S3526, the resurvey of Lot 25, Tuscaloosa Industrial Park Site A, 2 variance requests. Engineering has no issues with. Motion and a second, please.
Motion.
Mr. Rumsey?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved.
All right, next up, S 3626, Boonton Greensboro subdivision number 1, resurvey of lots 4, 6, and part of lot 5, Cersei Heights subdivision, consisting of 2 lots on approximately 1.6 acres, located at 3878 Greensboro Avenue and 2410 through 2418 39th Street. This is not in city limits. You can see we're just north of I-20 on Greensboro Avenue. You can see 3 lots today, some existing structures. They'd like to split it into 2 lots. You can see here with contours, without, we have 2 variance requests. I know Mr. Gardner has a comment on a note on this plat. We did not receive any public comment. Do you have any questions for staff?
Engineering, Mike, what you have?
So I'm okay with these 2 variances. And if Jimmy wants to bring it up in his presentation, but there's a note that I need placed on the final plat regarding sewer to lot 2.
So to elaborate on that a little bit, the building that's on Lot 1 is currently, again, in the county, but it is connected to the city's sewer system. So this happened prior to the, you got to be in the city to be a sewer customer scenario. Lot 2 are a series of flex buildings, office warehouses. Those will be on septic tanks. There will be a note on the plat verifying the fact that Lot 2 is not eligible for sewer, until which point Lot 2 annexes. So we're clear with that.
Yeah, that's correct.
Is that part of the plan?
Well, it's a rule that's,
I mean, but they're going to annex at some point?
no, not at this time.
Okay.
No, sir.
Well, I mean, I think we all agree that any user of the sewer needs to be.
I mean, that's in the code
I know.
already, so, but we'll make it
Abide by
crystal
that.
clear on the plat.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Mr. Duncan?
That's it.
All right. Anyone care to speak for or against? Having heard none. Commission, before us, we have S 3626, the Bouton Greensboro subdivision, 2 variance requests. Engineering has no issues with, however, there will be a note on the plat. I have a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Hornsby?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved.
Next up, S 3726, Beulah Baptist Church subdivision, resurvey of lots 17 through 20, Brown Circle subdivision, and unplatted land. This is 1 lot on approximately 2.4 acres, located at 3100 and 3102 25th Street and 2317 through 2405 31st Avenue, Council District 2. See just west of MLK Elementary here. You can see the church owns several properties. They just like to consolidate that into 1 large lot. You can see here with contours and without. 2 variance requests. We did not receive any public comment. Do you have any questions for staff?
Engineering,
No objections.
petitioner.
Commission, again, Jimmy Duncan, here tonight representing Beulah Baptist Church of Tuscaloosa. The church is in the process of evaluating potentially expanding their sanctuary, some support office space and whatnot. And so to do so, the sanctuary building is the one that's on the right of the page there. It'll extend west, which is over, of course, an existing platted lot line. So we're just going to clean up everything that they own that's directly adjacent to each other within this block with this effort.
Thank you. Anyone care to speak for or against? Or any questions for Mr. Duncan? Having heard neither, Commission, before us, we have S 3726, Beulah Baptist Church subdivision, 2 variance requests. Engineering has no issues with. Motion and a second.
Motion.
Mr. Rumsey?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved.
Next up, S 4026, Epsilon subdivision, resurvey of Lot 4A of the resurvey of Lot 4, Site A, Tuscaloosa County Industrial Park Number 1, and lots 4BR and 6R of CLSB subdivision. This is 2 lots on approximately 33.4 acres located at 1301 through 1401 Industrial Park Drive, Council District 1. You can see we're similar areas you just saw a few minutes ago, just west of the airport. They have 3 lots here today, and the plat's with north pointed right, so just getting you ready to look at that plat. In this direction, you can see creating 2 lots here with contours and without. We have 4 variance requests. We did not receive any public comment. Do you have any questions for staff?
Engineering,
No objections.
petitioner.
Mike Hicks, Herndon Hicks Associates, 2728 Lurleen Wallace Boulevard, Northport. This is another resurvey of this property. This is done to allow a 60,000 square foot expansion of the existing Epsilon industry building and the detention pond. So,
Nice. Any questions for petitioner? Thank you. Anyone care to speak for or against? Having heard none, Commissioner, before us, we have S 4026, Epsilon subdivision, 4 variance requests, engineering has no issues with. We have a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Hornsby?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved.
Next up, S 4526, a resurvey of Lot 2, River Chase Number 2, and part of Lot 1, River Chase Number 3. This is one lot on approximately 0.6 acres located at and around 2435 Trenton Drive, Council District 3. You see, we're just south of Verner Elementary. They have 2 lots here today. They'd like to consolidate and remove that middle lot line. See that without contours. We have 1 variance request, no public comment. Any questions for staff?
Engineering,
No issues.
petitioner.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Al Cabinets of Cabinets Engineering, representing Bill and Emily Deal. Yeah, I kind of thought this one could have been administrative. But, so Bill and Emily bought this. Well, we were close. Bill and Emily bought this lot in the late 80s, built their house there, raised their kids there, and recently they decided they still like the neighborhood, even though I do live across the street. They dramatically remodeled the house, and they want to build an accessory structure in their backyard. That parcel was acquired back in the original deed as a meets and bounds parcel, so technically it doesn't meet the subdivision requirements unless we remove that lot line. So here we are.
Fair enough. Any questions for petitioner? Anyone care to speak for or against? Case, you want to say anything? All right. All right, Commissioner, for us, we have S 4526, 1 variance request, sidewalks, engineering has no issues with it. A motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Rumsey?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved.
All right, one last item tonight, a rezoning petition, Z 1326. The city of Tuscaloosa petitions to rezone approximately 2.2 acres located at 1209 James I. Harrison Jr. Parkway East from IL to IP. This is Council District 6. See, we're just north of I-20 near the Bowers Park. The city recently bought this building. It's currently zoned industrial light, as you can see here. We're requesting to rezone it to IP institutional public for our use as the city. See the site here. In framework, it's identified as flex employment. The request and use conform to framework. Civic uses are a secondary use in this future land use character. You can see that identified here. Here are permitted uses. We did not receive any public comment. Do you have any questions for staff?
Any questions for staff? Having heard none. No petitioners. I guess we're the petitioner. Leota was. All right, Commission, before us, we have a rezoning request for Z 1320.
Motion.
26.
Second.
Motion second. Ms. Hornsby?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved.